So we have the discussion of deep dive into ORAN architecture. I'll try to keep it within the session of up to 10 a.m. Since we have a lot of slides today, but I'll focus mostly on the important parts, no? Especially since this is ORAN architecture, so that means we'll should be able to really understand the architecture itself. So some of the concepts here, actually a lot of the concepts here po would be um, what you can say is really theoretical since this is more on the framework. No? What is the architecture itself? No? How each component interacts? No? How are they connected? No? So the knowledge on the different components, different interfaces are important in this case because later na in when we go into other ORAN topics and advanced topics, no, the knowledge on the different interfaces, different components will be relevant. Especially later, we're also trying to prepare some laboratory activities, and the laboratory activities would assume that the learner has some knowledge on the architecture itself. Yeah, so pero don't worry po, not since this is the session to introduce you with the ORAN architecture, then it's okay if you are not yet familiar with a lot of the terms here. No? That the purpose of the webinar is really to expose you and guide you to the architecture itself. Okay, so if you have access right now to the Learning Hub, we have the course there and the syllabus is also present there. And also the slides. If you compare the slides to the today's presentation, there will be a bit of changes kasi I was tweaking it sometimes from time to time. So siguro in the next course iteration, I may be able to update them. But not too many naman yung changes. Yeah, so this particular course covers the architecture itself. So I'll mention later, which is the most important slide in the whole lecture, and also the relevant specifications. Especially if the learner wants to explore the further reports, because there are a lot of documents prepared by 3GPP or Third Generation Partnership Project, and also of ORAN Alliance. And so some of the activities in the course are also geared towards exploring the specifications and reports. Yeah, and then later we'll in the outline we'll focus also on the evolution of the RAN architecture, why we need to have an open RAN or what is the need for the open RAN. I believe this is also introduced, I think, by Richard, because in the basic open RAN discussion. But let's have an overview again on that to give the motivation. And these are the different architectures. Some of them are not yet open, but it's relevant to understand what is the ORAN architecture. And finally, the main parts would be to understand the architecture itself, particularly the hardware and the soft and the interfaces of the ORAN architecture. So some of the acronyms here are mentioned, but later we'll go through them naman para we'll get a big understanding on how they connect to each other. And so particularly, we have the following topics for this course. So if you have any questions, feel free to chat na rin po sa chat box. And if you want to clarify something, pwede naman po mag-chat. Yan. So ito po yung outline ng ating presentation. But since baka limited yung time I may skip some parts, but really focus on the important ones, the architecture itself. Yeah, so we have the number one is the RAN architecture evolution, and number two is the overall architecture of ORAN and specifications. And then how does this architecture proposed by ORAN Alliance complement the 3GPP standard or third generation partnership project? And then we compare the different nodes, functions, interfaces of 3GPP and ORAN. And since they complement each other, what are the components that are based on the ORAN standards? What are the components that are traditionally from 3GPP? And then later some relevant interfaces in the ORAN architecture, because the key difference of ORAN architecture is that not only the hardware are open or commercially available, but also the interfaces are open, meaning they are not proprietary. Vendors can, or rather, vendors should be able to manufacture the same interface and follow the standard set by the ORAN architecture or ORAN Alliance. So why do they need to follow the same standard so that there will be more like economically more competition among the manufacturers, and also assist their clients, which are the mobile operators, to upgrade and expand their network. Yeah. And then later, some implementation options and deployment scenarios to ensure that the what is to really highlight what is the advantage of Open RAN compared to the traditional setup. Yan. So mukhang marami-rami po, no? But don't worry, we'll go into them, no, slowly. And of course, we'll have a short break then a bit later. Yan. Okay, so let me start first with an overview, no, of the mobile network itself. In the Philippines, we have a lot of telco, and we have a lot of there are major players, there are local players, and a lot of them have their own base stations, in various parts of the Philippines. So this particular image is taken from um website na later I'll share. And then in that website, you can see different cellular generations, like from 2G, 3G, 4G, 4G plus, and 5G. Wala na yung 1G, no, since decommissioned na siya. But we still have 2G na in the Philippines. No? It is used mostly to facilitate yung mga calls. No? I don't know if you notice na when you call someone, usually nagda-down yung ating data, yung function, no, yung data natin sa phone, no? Naka 2G na lang siya bigla. No? So because it goes back, no, sa 2G, yung sa setup sa Philippines. So hindi yung mga calls natin is not sometimes not voice over IP. Yan. So yung 2G is focused on mostly voice and yung SMS or the text messaging. So short messaging service. So it is considered digitized voice kasi in 1G it was just analog. No, when we say analog is uh, actually when it's analog, it's not as secure. People can tap into the frequency, and then yun, pwede nila marinig yung conversation. So when they introduced 2G, the purpose is to digitize the calls, to add some what they call add some encryption, kasi para hindi po basta-basta na papakinggan ng kahit sino. And then also from that, they can also add other source coding techniques, mga compression, whatever other digital communication techniques. Yan. And then in the Philippines, very specific sila na medyo marami. No? Parang nung parang na-start yung, nung na-start yung 2G sa Philippines, dinamihan nila yung parang capability or capacity for SMS. Kasi they realized, they were thinking that Filipinos will really like the SMS feature, which is true naman nung in the past. Mostly starting from text, no? And although now the text messaging is more on mga logistics wise na siya. Yeah, anyway, no, yung next is 3G. It introduced the mobile data and video, wherein we can now use the data, no? You use the cellular network to browse the internet, although not as fast compared to 4G. 4G is now mobile broadband, no? So parang mas marami lang yung coverage, mas mabilis, and mas marami features. And then 5G is enhanced mobile broadband, ultra reliable, low latency communications, massive machine type communications. So these three are the different parang major phases of 5G. Yan. So bali in Philippines may 5G na rin po na, but a bit limited pa sa mga locations. And also right now, since 2020 lang really na-deploy yung 5G in the whole world, not all these parts are already deployed. A lot of it are non-standalone. So later, I think we have a slide on that. And but to give you an idea on the major cities in the Philippines, no, in a lot of major cities, there are also already 5G coverage. Um, this may not no longer be updated. Parang 2 years ago ata itong screenshots na ito na, but you can see them here na in this website. Kaya ko ba i-share? So host and panelists lang. So siguro later po na if Jobs can open or can share this link na to the chat box to everyone. Right now kasi host and panelists lang yung may access. Ayan. So if you go to this website, no, www.nperf.com/en/map/ph. Tapos may ano pa yun, slash dash signal dash slash. No? Ayan. So if you go there, you'll see the mobile network coverage depending on which mobile operator you want to see. No, only mobile big players, no, of mobile networks are found there. Although there are of course other telcos na more on medyo localized yung coverage nila or maybe certain regions lang. And siguro I can also briefly share the
Got it, Doc. I'll take care of it.
app. Okay po. Thank you. Yan. Okay, so ito po yung kapag binuksan natin, no, itong link, no. Ayan. So, hindi, wala ka pa makikita kasi kailangan mo mag-select ng carrier. So, pwede rin ata sa ibang bansa, no? But for now, we have the Philippines na. Maybe we go with Smart. Ano lang, wala namang pong reason kung bakit Smart. Just randomly selecting. Yan. So, if you see here, no, may maraming coverage. Although, hindi po siya talaga yung complete information kasi they rely on drive test, no, to gather the data. So, they go through some roads, maybe major roads lang, and then see whether there is coverage. No? Kaya at certain parts, like sa mga medyo may mga bundok ng konti na hindi nila masyado na consider yan. And, yeah. And ngayon ko lang napansin na it's very, very recent. No? They updated it very recently. So that's good. Maybe they have other, baka may mga base stations before na hindi pa available and then now they're already available. Yan, in Cebu, no, dumami yung nasa, hindi kita yung ating legend. No? If you go down a bit, no, you'll see the legend here. The 5G is the purple one. So medyo dumami, no? Compared to in our slides earlier. So mas dumami na yung coverage, no? Yan. And also, and it's possible, no, na yung sinabi ko po earlier na that in the parts that there are contours like this, no, medyo pataas ng konti. Hindi lang na record, no? Hindi lang na record na may coverage here, but there is definitely some coverage since of course the antennas are propagating with a certain direction. If sector antennas and then medyo naka 60 degrees sila. Ayan. So ano lang po ito, no, data points when they drive through the different parts. So dumami-dami na yung ating 5G coverage. But mostly ang marami talaga is I think yung 4G, no? And if siguro sa mga far-flung areas, may ibang areas nga na walang known coverage. So baka mas coverage siya ng other telcos. Yeah, so very interesting to see. No? And I think a lot of the students, no, or learners, if they find this, no, they'll find it really interesting. No? Para mas ma-appreciate po nila, no, before going to the theoretical concepts. No? Kasi yun yung challenge. No? Once they see, or even ako na when I see some theoretical concepts, yan, medyo nag-information overload. Yan. Sige po. Let me go back dun sa PowerPoint. No? You can browse po, no, the the link earlier. Yan. I think, okay, nakabalik na po ako. Okay. Yan. So, hindi na pala updated tong pictures na to, no? Which is good. No? That means may mga further deployments. No? Yan. Okay. So, notice that there are a lot of coverage. No? That means there are thousands of RANs or radio access networks across the whole Philippines. And their purpose is to provide mobile network coverage to connect us, to connect the users to the core network and of course to the internet. And in each cellular generation, the 2G, 3G, 4G, and so on, they have different names. You may notice that may 4G plus, no, kasi in the different generations, hindi po sila 1G, 2G, 3G. Minsan may mga sub-generations pa. Like merong 2.75G, yung 3, actually yung 4G is 3.9G siya talaga, pero they were able to market it as 4G na. And then yung actual na 4G na, yung complete na yung specification, yun yung 4G plus. Yan. But those are mostly just yung mga names, no, convention. In the perspective of the users, they really don't need to know, no, yung mga nitty-gritty details na yan. Kaya meron lang ditong 4G plus sa 4G. Just mas powerful, of course, yung 4G plus kasi this is the LTE advanced. Ayan. Okay, so also it's good to give the learners some idea on what is the radio access network. What are the thousands of RAN that was mentioned, no, in the previous slide? When I say radio access network, these are the system, no, of the telco that is nearest to the user, nearest to the end user. No? So this access network, the red one, provides RF connectivity, provides wireless connectivity to the end user. So it's basically talking to a lot of users with thousands of users at the time, and they implement different multiplexing techniques. So in they probably if they're taking up electronics engineering program, then they should undergo some topics on communications, digital communications, on that. And anyway, so yung coverage earlier, come from the radio access network, and there are a lot of them in the Philippines. Hindi lang po siya single location. Kasi limited, of course, yung ating antennas. Yan. So ito lang po yung sample to give the students or learners some idea on it, kung asan siya banda. And you can ask them to some of these as they travel or as they move in the city or in their place. At pwede mag-picture sila and then ma-identify nila asan yung mga RAN, radio access network. And then of course, it's not enough na nakakonect lang sa RAN. Kailangan interconnected din sila, no? And also connected outside the Philippines to access resources, no, in the internet, no, that's not in the Philippines. And so for the RAN, the various different RANs, no, to connect to the core network, they go through the transport network. This transport network is also called as a backhaul. Mostly, ang purpose is to connect the two. And then the core network naman is yung mga, ito na yung core routers, core switches, and also yung mga services offered na by telco para, and then ibababa na lang nila sa access network. Yan. So in this course, no, yung pinaka-focus really natin is yung pagiging open, no, nitong access network na ito. Yan. So in the past kasi, no, there are different names or rather different systems, no, for each generation. The RAN itself, no, has different names or different architecture, ganon. And like as you can see here, from 2G, 3G, 4G, 5G, they have different technologies here, like GSM, Global Systems for Mobile Communications. And this is 2G. And then we have the Edge, no? And then this Edge is like 2.75G. And then combination nila is GERA. No? This is the RAN, GSM Edge RAN. And they have the base station controller, base transceiver station. So ito yung system before ng 2G. And then when 3G was introduced, they introduced a different system, the universal mobile terrestrial system, mobile telecommunication system. Yung UTRAN, yung Universal Terrestrial RAN, may different names na naman, the Radio Network Controller, Node B, and this is a completely new system. So imagine if you're the operator, you have to procure different systems for 3G, different system for 2G, and different management din, yung CapEx and OpEx. And then dumating ulit yung 4G, iba na naman. We have long-term evolution and then evolved or enhanced UTRAN. The base station is typically called as eNode B. So later you'll notice that some of the block diagrams will have eNode B or Node B or GNode B. Then pagdating ng 5G, bago na naman. We have new radio or the 5G RAN or GNode B. So in each generation, different names, and this also means different systems, no? Medyo parang cellphone lang. You have, parang you're changing every few releases, no? And it's not as cost effective. Kasi rather than focusing on expenses to put up new base station, revise or upgrade the base stations, mas maganda ata if we put up new base stations in places na wala pang coverage, no? So yun yung isa sa mga motivation ng Open RAN, no? Kasi medyo ayan, magastos, no? The timeline also is every decade, no? From ito 1990s, 2000, 2010, 2020, and syempre later 2030 naman yung 6G, no? So every decade there is parang a new investment. So hindi siya as cost effective as they imagine, no? And so later we'll also see, no, yung evolution of the RAN from the traditional to the Open RAN. No? Right now ito yung evolution ng cellular network. Yan. Okay, and let me just give you a brief overview of the LTE architecture, the 4G architecture. The core network is called as Evolved Packet Core or EPC. And then the S1 is the transport. Diba kanina we have the core, transport, and then the RAN. No? So the eNode B, E and B here is the RAN. And then it connects to the end user, no, through wireless or radio frequency. Ito yung pinaka-RAN, no, kasama yung remote radio head. No? It's the remote radio head is mostly the device, no, that processes the data, analog to digital conversion bago i-propagate ng antenna. Yan. So, bali itong block lang to, no, yung pinaka-RAN. And then meron ng other interface lang, like the front hall interface connecting the node to the remote radio unit. And then ito is just the air interface, yun yung naming nila this architecture. And you'll notice as well there's an X2 interface. This one, the purpose is to interconnect the different RANs for the purpose of having internode communications. No? Nagfa-facilitate yan to have handover, no, between the nodes para mag-usap na sila kesa dumaan pa sa transport. No? So tatagal kasi pag dumaan sa transport, tapos pupunta sa core. No? If they can provide internode communications, mas maganda. No? Yan. So I introduced this architecture because in the 5G architecture, no, the NG-RAN architecture, very similar naman, no, yung kanilang parang idea. No? You have the core network, ito 5G core network, and then you have the RAN composed of different GNode Bs. No? Ito yung mga RAN components, no? Different. It can also include the NG eNode B saka GNode B. Ang pinagkaiba lang nila, no, yung isa is can connect na dun sa Evolved Packet Core, yung sa EPC, no, yung sa 4G. Ayan. So may mga iba't ibang connections, of course, yung NG, itong part na to is the backhaul part. No? XN is for internode communications. Ayan. Okay, so but in general, now if you look, it's the core, the backhaul, and then the RAN. Ayan. And then we have these networks here, NSA and SA. Why we need to mention this? Because for 5G na to work, hindi pa siya agad talaga nagre-rely on its own core network, no? Right now in the Philippines, naka non-standalone pa tayo. Meaning, kailangan ng 4G network before para makapag-operate siya. Yan, as you can see, no, the 4G core network, itong Evolve Packet 4, and then we have this eNode B, it's a 4G RAN, no? And then yung GNode B is a 5G RAN. No? So nakakabit pa siya sa core ng 4G para makapag-provide yung telco na ng 4G and 5G coverage. No? But eventually, once nagpalit na rin yung core, no, pwedeng connect na yung GNode B doon. And also, it can connect yung mga eNode Bs, no? Since hindi sila agad tinatanggal, no? They can cooperate at the same time. Ayan. So that's just the overview of the mobile network architecture to give an overview bago tayo mag-deep dive into the overall architecture. Yan. And let me also give you an overview as well of the RAN architecture evolution para mabigyan ng motivation na kung bakit kailangan ng open RAN. Ayan. So, remember no, yung ating basic architecture ng mobile network earlier. No? We have the core, itong part na to. Then we have the transport network, also known as the backhaul, and the RAN or the access network. No? Yan. So, because of the evolution of the technology, everything is becoming, can be virtualized na. No? Ang nangyari is that the hardware and software are starting to disaggregate. So, meaning, dati kasi parang yung software, naka-design lang siya for a particular hardware. And then yung hardware is parang proprietary, nandun lang yung parang particular vendor lang, gano'n. No? But because of virtualization, no, nagkakaroon na ng disaggregation, they realized na it would be cheaper to just use commercial off-the-shelf devices, parang mga commercial devices lang, commercial servers lang. And then, dun sa virtualized na or the software side na lang yung kanilang design na doon nakafocus. So, kasi as you have learned earlier, no, each generation, different equipment, no? So, ibig sabihin, different design na naman yon, different hardware design, ganyan. So, kung lahat yon can just be implemented on the same type of server, edi yung server na yon, pwede siya ma-reuse no, from time to time. Ayan. So, nag-disaggregate na yung hardware and software, no? They split into different systems, although they still need each other. No? Yung software must run on the hardware. No? And then for Open RAN, no, we focus on the disaggregation of the RAN, this part, no? The separation of the hardware and software components. Ayan. So yung concept of disaggregation no, happened even in other systems, not just the RAN. In the past, yung mga hardware, yung mga mainframes, no, dati nakafocus lang talaga sila on that particular purpose, no, to provide yung mga connections, ganyan. No? And eventually, nagbago no, dahil sa technology, nag-boom ng technology, as nagkaroon ng parang better software, may mga software development, and the server hardware got standardized. No? So that means pwedeng they just need to buy the commercial servers, and then the software side no, will be parang installed on the software, so on the server. Then yun yung pwedeng medyo iba ng konti. Tapos naging mas mura na mas mura, other devices got standardized as well. And also eventually na yung mga switches, network devices can be further also virtualized. No? And kaya dito papasok yung mga cloud computing na virtualization discussion before. No? Kaya nagkaroon ng mga ganun is so that dahil standardized na yung mga hardware, they can just use the same hardware and then just modify the software. No? If they need to upgrade, pwedeng may virtualized machines na lang sa loob or pwedeng mag-combine yung mga servers, ganun. Yan. So dito papasok yung mga cloud engineers, mga virtualization engineers. So they work on ensuring na to maximize yung operation ng mga servers. In the past kasi no, may mga dedicated functions lang sila. This server for whatever function, this server for another function. And hindi na optimized no, kasi kung yun lang yung function niya, baka sayang yung space, sayang din yung memory or yung storage. And so eventually, ganun din, may software-defined networking na meaning na disaggregate din yung certain components, no? Tapos may mga virtualized functions din. May mga controller na tanggal, yung main mga controllers within the devices na remove and then they got centralized para mas maganda yung management ng maraming routers and switches. So, ayan. So, hindi lang sa radio access network na it's the disaggregation has also been imminent no, in other systems. And the main reason is really the cost, no, yung pag-manage ng mga systems. No? So, ganun din sa RAN, no, yung cost no, incurred whenever there is a new generation. Siyempre, it would be more really expensive. If they can reuse different or use their past hardware much better para makapag-focus sila sa software and of course makapag-focus sa expansion. So ultimately, although indirectly, the end user will benefit because there will be the mobile operators will have more opportunities to expand their coverage. So pag mas maraming coverage, mas masaya din yung mga tao. Ayan. So, in the past, no, we have that what we call the traditional RAN, also known as the distributed RAN, wherein this was present as a 2G, 3G, where in the baseband unit or the BBU, or and the radio unit are co-located no, in the same cabinet no, or same area. And the purpose of the two is that the baseband unit mostly focus on the signal processing component, no? Pag kailangan i-receive and transmit. And then the radio unit is really like more on an amplifier than conversion of the analog to digital information and vice versa. Ayan. So after the signal leaves no, the cabinet, it goes through this cabling system. And hindi lang drawn to scale, but imagine since mataas yung mga towers, yung mga cabinets, no, even if nasa taas sila ng mga rooftop, no, syempre medyo mas taas pa rin yung tower, maybe meters high, 5 meters high. The cabinet is at the bottom of the tower. It takes maybe 5 meters or more for the signal to go through. And in the concept of transmission media, no, if there is a long cabling system, then mag-attenuate po yung ating signal. And sayang naman, no? Bago pa siya mag-radiate, attenuated na siya. No? So yun yung naging challenge dito sa first implementation here no? In this non-split na traditional architecture. No? Yan. So traditional, kasi itong co-located pa in the same place, itong baseband unit, saka radio unit. And then non-split kasi magkasama pa silang dalawa. No? So in the later phases of 3G and also in the rollout of 4G, pinaghiwalay na itong dalawang ito. No? The baseband unit is still in the cabinet and can now drive several remote radio unit. So from radio unit, naging remote radio unit kasi lumayo siya. So remote radio unit or remote radio head. It's in charge of the digital to analog conversion and analog to digital conversion. And then yung cabling system here no, still connects this part no, and then this cabinet here. No. So yung baseband unit as well, kaya na mag-process ng maraming RRUs. Kung may iba pang base station na malapit, ayan, pwede. And remote radio unit can provide amplification. No? After magkaroon ng konting losses dito, mag-provide siya ng amplification and syempre digital to analog conversion. And what else? No? Aside from that, no, dito, coaxial cable pa yung gamit. No? copper cables. Here, pwede ng fiber optic cables. No? And at higher frequencies, so pag mga gigahertz range na, no, the fiber optic cables are much better because of yung mga issues like mga skin effect, gano'n. Yan. So these two are the traditional RAN. This one on the left side is the non-split kasi magkasama pa sila. No? The other side naman is the split architecture since yan, naghiwalay na sila. No? And, but still, this is the RAN, no? Yung dalawang yan, no? The baseband unit and the remote radio unit. Yan. So, lumapit-lapit na yung radio unit, no? Ang na-introduce nilang bago dito is what we call the front hall interface. No? Yung connection between the baseband unit sa baba saka yung remote radio unit sa taas. No? Yung front hall interface, no, particularly is this one, the Common Public Radio Interface or CPRI. This is one of the front hall interfaces na meron. And nag-issue dito is ano siya, it's proprietary. So medyo ano siya, vendor specific. Pag ibang vendor, iba yung CPRI implementation nila. Pag other vendor, iba ulit. No? So ibig sabihin kapag one of these components are need to be upgraded, no? Kailangan palitan din yung iba. Hindi pwedeng bumili sa ibang vendors, ganyan. So naka-vendor lock-in sila dito. Ayan. This is also another way of looking at the traditional RAN. No? Yung non-split architecture is kumbaga yung baseband unit and radio unit na in the same maybe cabinet. And then the radio unit connects to the antenna using a coaxial cable. Yung isa naman, naghiwalay na sila, no? Kaya naging remote radio unit. No? You need a front hall interface. So again, yung front hall interface in this case is CPRI. No? So both of them are still traditional RAN or tinatawag ding classical RAN or distributed RAN. Yeah. And then of course, the RAN syempre connects no, to the core network via backhaul interface or backhaul connections. And the backhaul connections may be fiber, microwave, minsan may satellite din. Pero mas reliable kasi no, kapag mga wired connections. Ayan. And then later, there are parang improvements on the RAN. Nakahiwalay pa rin naman yung baseband unit saka remote radio unit. Pero they were able to like have what we call a centralized RAN. Mas magkalayo na sila, no? Yung front hall, this part, no, is serviced no, by an optical distribution network. So mas maraming fiber systems pa siya. Yan. And then the baseband unit are pulled together in the same location, in a central location. Kaya tinatawag na centralized RAN or minsan central RAN or minsan tinawag na cloud RAN. Somehow, you can imagine, parang nasa cloud siya kasi malayo yung location niya. Yan. Pero itong particular na deployment na to, may limitation din siya kasi dapat the area no has some optical connections. So kailangan may mga fiber connections siya here. And but it's good na direction no kasi nagsa-start din mag-disaggregate yung mga radio access networks. Yeah. And then there came the virtualized RAN no? Or otherwise known as vRAN or virtual RAN. So vRAN po ito. And then in this case, magkahiwalay pa rin naman yung baseband unit saka radio unit. But the baseband unit can now be virtualized, meaning that it can just run on servers na traditional servers lang, commercial off-the-shelf servers. Hindi kailangan na specific hardware for the BBU na yun lang yung purpose niya. Pwedeng parang any server no, na may enough resources no? And then install the software on that to function to do its functions. No? Ayan. So, yun yung introduction of virtualization sa RAN. Naka-virtualize na yung BBU, kaya nakasulat vBBU. And then, ito yung kanina na-mention ko na X2 is the interface between the nodes no, in a 4G network. And then the S1 is the backhaul. and then the core network is here. So from time to time, no, in for when you eventually teach this, no, you refer back to other block diagrams kasi mas ma-relate no ng mga learners no how the discussion flows. No. Parang looking back, no, it's almost the same as the first diagram that I have shown. May core, may backhauls, may ano dito, may access network. Ayan. And then, what else, no? In this case, no, ang parang naging issue pa rin dito is the front hall interface is still proprietary. No? So, naka-vendor lock-in pa din yung mga telco. Ayan. So, before I discuss yung pinaka-ORAN, no? So, ito yung parang pagkakaiba ng mga generations, no? Ito yung traditional RAN or vRAN, no? And then, in that case, no, magkakasama pa rin lahat dito. Tapos sa Cloud RAN or Centralized RAN or CRAN, na paghiwalay na. And then the baseband unit can handle a lot more. The front haul is an optical distribution network. Ito naman vRAN, meron ng virtualized na components. And then finally, in Open RAN, similar idea as vRAN, no? Virtualized components. Anong pinagkaiba nila? The ORAN is mostly open na talaga. Open yung front hall interface, no? Open yung hardwares, and so on. Yan. So, ito rin yung another way of looking at the evolution, no? From the traditional RAN na may RRUB beam co-located on the same site, whether non-split or split option. Centralized RAN, may pooling na nagaganap. Meron din namang split options siya. Yung split options na is yung baseband unit naging dalawa, distributed unit and yung centralized unit. Yung functions itong dalawa, later may kita natin no, kasi may discussion din on the para mga different RAN protocols. But essentially, no, the two were disaggregated para some parts will handle certain signal processing. The other part will handle the upper layer processing. And so later natin ito titignan. And then vRAN is virtualized na no, and running on the cloud somehow, no? Not really on the cloud na yung data centers, but mostly sa telco offices. No? Then finally, Open RAN. No? Yan. So lahat ng hardware yung sa radio unit, baseband unit, they are COTS-based. No? Commercial off-the-shelf server. So parang ano lang, basic server, hindi lang basic, pero it's not for a specific function. No? Pwede magpalit-palit, kunwari yung ibang server gamitin for other functions. Kind of. And then the functions no, are now virtualized, running on the servers. No? And then the front hall interface, originally yung CPRI, yung Common Public Radio Interface, it's now open. And later in this course, na may discussion then on the different front hall interface. Yan. So yung lahat ng hardware open. And then the software aspect, yung functions are virtualized. Okay, and then the RAN functions are split into three. The radio unit, distributed unit, and the centralized unit. Kung ano man yung naka-assign no, sa bawat parts na to, these are defined no, by 3GPP. May mga parang split options yan na later i-discuss din briefly. Pero mostly, those split options will be covered in another webinar. Ayan. So we have the essentially pag open RAN, lahat ng hardware, including interface, are open. Meaning, hindi po specific sa vendor lang. No? Pwedeng iba't ibang vendors yung gagamitin. Ayan. Ayan. So, to summarize ulit, ang daming summary. In traditional RAN, no, everything is proprietary. Yung remote radio unit, the baseband hardware, baseband na software, and the front hall interface. No? Again, ano ba yung front hall? It connects the remote radio unit and the baseband unit. And then in the centralized RAN, lahat pa rin ay proprietary. No? Pero they introduce the concept of pooling And yung front hall, parang pwedeng distribution network na siya na distribution network, optical distribution network. No? In the virtualized RAN, dito nag-start yung disaggregation. May yung proprietary pa rin naman yung RRU, proprietary pa rin yung front hall. Yung baseband unit, however, no, is COTS server na. So, open server na siya. Meron lang naka-install na proprietary na software. It's a virtualized network function. No? Yan. So, parang virtualized na no, yung DBU. No? And then in Open RAN, no, all the hardware, no, itong RRU, BBU, front hall, no, they are open kasi ito commercial off the shelf or pwedeng software-defined radio siya. And then yung software lang talaga yung proprietary. So that's why a lot of the vendors no, are gearing towards virtualization. No? Like, kunwari yung Emerson, Nokia, meron pa Parallel Wireless. No? They're introducing virtualized functions kasi dito na sila magkakaroon ng parang edge. No? Pare-pareho nga na parang open yung hardware and interfaces. But kung gaano kaganda yung software, gaano ka-efficient, ganyan, doon na sila makakakuha ng edge. No? So, yun nga lang, naging pabor naman kasi mangyari eventually, they still have a lot of competition involved. No? Ayan. And then, what else is important here? You can see here, no, yung pinaka-idea ng Open RAN. May functional split yung tatlong components kanina na radio unit, distributed unit, centralized unit. They handle different protocols and depende na lang sa need, no? Kasi may mga use cases na yung certain protocol maganda mas malapit, yung certain protocol maganda malayo, ganyan. Yun yung purpose ng functional split, no? Magkakaroon ng flexibility yung telco to implement, no, how they want to implement it. But of course, siguro yung trade-off is yung challenge na virtualization, tapos kung iba't ibang hardware from vendor A, vendor B, kailangan i-test muna kung interoperable sila. Baka may hindi sumusunod. And then, what else? Siyempre yung upgrades, dapat knowledgeable sa virtualization. No? Yeah. So, pero maganda kasi is open source, no, open standard, and ito, kailangan maging interoperable. So, nagkaroon lang ng, of course, no, yung trade-off is to check yung interoperability and then mas marami ng vendors na kausap. But eventually, no, nung pinroject no, ng mga ORAN groups, no, that they expect huge na financial na parang implication niya. So, yun yung purpose ng Open RAN. Ayan. So, I hope I was able to give you an overview talaga, no? Overview pa lang pala yan, of the architecture. Kasi I want to, before I discuss the actual na ORAN architecture, may magandang background muna para pag nakita yung architecture, hindi naman overwhelming niya. Oh, yung daming terms. Yan. So, siguro po, we can have a break a bit later pa. Na. Tapusin ko lang yung, I wanted to introduce na yung pinaka-architecture. Yan. So, in the next few slides, lalabas na siya finally. Yan. Okay, so, a review ulit. Now, let's go back from the first diagram. We have the core network, and then the transport network, and then the access network again. And then, ang main focus talaga ng course is yung access network. No? And then, in the 4G and 5G network, there are also components like yung baseband unit, remote radio unit. What you have seen earlier is that the remote radio unit is the one nearest the antenna. Kaya siya nilapit kasi nga yung signal quality bumababa pag masyado malayo. So, bago pa mag-degrade, no, ipapropagate na, i-radiate na ng antenna. Yan. Tapos yung baseband unit, its functions, no, is usually marami pa ng mga demodulation, mga error correction, and things like that. So later po makikita natin yung pinaka-different functions nito. But so for now, you just imagine this is for signal processing. The other one is for digital to analog conversion bago magkaroon ng radiation from the antenna. Yan. Yan. Another way of looking at the mobile network, no? Para may kasama na ring equipment. So this is the radio access network. Inside it, we have the baseband unit. It's like just a server, no, na may mga interfaces. And then the interface, no, from the BBU to the RRU is the front hall interface. And then the remote radio unit connects to the antenna. And then the antenna is the one radiating and receiving information. Within the baseband unit, pwede pa siya further um, i-split, no, into the distributed unit, DU, and the centralized unit. No. Pag pinaghiwalay sila, meron pang additional interface na called the mid-hall interface. No. Yan. So may front hall, nearest the end user. Hindi yung papuntang end user, no, but rather before RRU. No. And then the mid-hall between the two. And then may backhaul din. No. Yan. So yung backhaul interface or backhaul is the transport network. And then finally, the core network, may mga, ayan, mga high level na mga routers and switches na managing a lot of communications. Okay, this is also parang a simplified version of the ORAN architecture. Hindi pa talaga siya yung full na architecture, but to slowly introduce lang, no, before going there. In the ORAN architecture, they still have this, remember the centralized unit, no? Itong CU. Tapos may distributed unit din. And there's also a radio unit. So yung tatlong components kanina, no, sa radio access network are still here. Naging O lang. No? O, DU, ORU, OCU to indicate that they are ORAN or open. No? So ORAN distributed unit, ORAN radio unit, and ORAN centralized unit. No? And bakit po may ganito ang dalawa? Just to separate the functions of the control plane and the user plane. No? So pag control plane, it manages mostly the parang updates between the different components. Pag user plane naman, nandyan mostly yung mga data transmission. No? And then may E1 interface to connect the two planes, no, of the centralized unit. Yan. What else? Dito pa din yung front hall interface, no? From DU to RU. Nakasulat lang O, FH, no? Kasi open. Open front hall. Yung pinaka-interface na no longer CPRI, kasi nga yung CPRI is proprietary. And then may dito, mid-hall interface, no? Connecting the DU and the CU. Yan. So parang ito pa rin yun, no? Yung part na to, yung RAN. Ano pa yung ibang nadagdag, no? You now have what we call the RAN Intelligent Controller, no? Yung Near Real-Time RAN Intelligent Controller. Maya't maya nyo po ito maririnig no, sa course na ito, pero especially sa next course na RAN Intelligent Controller. No? And then meron din Service Management and Orchestration. Itong mga to parang inintroduce to really parang make the different RANs more efficient. No? Itong near real-time RAN intelligent controller can connect to various RANs, various CUs, DUs, and then gather data. Pag nag-gather ng data, pwede mag-optimize ng network and things like that. No? Kaya siya tinawag na near real-time RIC is because it supports tasks that require less than 1 second latency. So, almost real-time na. Pero pag more than 1 second na, hindi na sa kanya. So, later meron pang isa, ano. And then the upper part, no, more on RAN domain management. If they have like policies in place, kung may configuration changes, no, pwedeng nasa kanya. Tapos kung kailangan i-update yung configuration ng mga DU, CU, RU, ayan, pwedeng dito galing. So later, no, titignan natin yung mas detailed architecture, but this is like soft transition lang. So you have the RAN here, then the additional components, no, of ORAN Alliance. Yan. So notice as well yung colors, no, kasi consistent yan across the lecture. Yan. This is also another way of looking at it, kasi dinadahan-dahan lang po na bago ma-introduce yung architecture itself. No. Nandito pa din yung CU, DU, saka RU, no? Yung tatlong yan yung parang usual talaga na components ng RAN. Tapos, na-introduce lang yung near real-time RIC. Tapos, may SMO and non-real-time RIC. Ito yung sinasabi ko. Kasi near real-time RIC is mostly mga tasks less than 1 second of latency. Like, kunwari, they need to do some network slicing, yung mga ganon. But if it takes longer than 1 second, like additional AI, kunwari maglalagay ng machine learning component, lalagyan ng intelligence yung network, like if it needs to have some sort of prediction, ayan, kailangan niya kunin yung data pa din from the runs, but it takes time na to train the AI model, pag machine learning model. Ayan. So, dito banda yon sa SMO, especially sa non-real-time RIC, no? Mga tasks, no, greater than 1 second of latency. Yan. Also, na-introduce din dito yung O-Cloud, wherein there may be cloud-native virtualized functions running. So, nasa telco na to, no, if they want to implement a separate one. And then, how do these different components connect? No? There are a lot of interfaces. Kaya, ayan. So, ito na yung pinaka-architecture finally. Ang daming dahan-dahan pa. Dahan-dahan pa before going into the architecture. No? So, siguro let's break it down. Again, itong tatlong parts na to, ito lang muna yung tignan natin. No? Yung CU, centralized unit, DU, distributed unit, and RU, radio unit. No? Nagkaroon lang ng O dyan kasi nga ORAN siya, or Open RAN. No? Open RAN radio unit, Open RAN distributed unit, Open RAN centralized unit. No? We have the control and the user planes to indicate lang yung mga parang may sub-components pa kasi yung CU. Handling the different functions, particularly for the data of the user and for management purposes. Ayan. And we have the front hall interface here. Nakasulat lang CUS plane. It's control, user, and synchronization plane. Ito naman, management plane. Yan. Pero essentially, we have the front hall interface. Okay, what else? We have the mid-hall interface, itong F1. Ang F1 na to ay 3GPP standard. Pag nakita itong architecture na to, paano malalaman? Kasi yung kulay, no? The color here is gray. So it is a 3GPP interface. All the others na color green ay ORAN specified interface siya. Ayan. So ito na yung RAN, di ba? Yung kaninang RAN. Pero nag-introduce nga tayo ng near real-time RIC, no, for optimization purposes. If may kailangan na kunin na data, i-harvest yung data, tapos i-optimize yung network. And also, it can connect to other RANs as well, like ito, no? Yung eNode B, like a 4G node, no? It connects to the various RAN components through the E2 interface. No? Itong E2 interface. So, asan yung E1? Ayan, may E1 naman dito. E1 is between these two. But the E2 interface connects the near real-time RIC to the various RAN components like sa DU saka sa CU. Bakit nga ba na-connect? Kasi it needs to gather the data, get the data from the various components like yung kumusta yung traffic, is the device still up or is the function still up? Baka nag-down na siya. How much utilization yung ginagawa niya and things like that. So mostly it's for data analytics, no? And papasok nga yung discussion ng AI and virtualization. Tapos once na-gather niya yung data, no, some data will be used for mga near real-time applications kung kailangan ng decision making. Other data baka magamit for long-term na applications. Yan. What else here? We have ito X2. If you can recall na from the 4G na architecture, ito po yung inter-node na interface. So, kumbaga, kung kakausap siya sa iba pang nodes, no, may X2. And then we have NG. This is for the next generation, yung parang sa 5G, no? Meron ding XN for the 5G as well. No? Yeah. So, the gray ones, the gray lines indicate 3GPP interface. That's why, ano naman, compliant naman yung ORAN architecture sa 3GPP interface. Nag-introduce lang sila talaga ng additional na components para ma-optimize yung open network, no? Dahil pare-pareho naman na, or rather standardized naman na yung mga servers, saka yung ating mga functions na kayang kunan ng information, mas madaling mag-collect ng data this way, no? Kaya nagkaroon ng near real-time RIC. And then pataas, the non-real-time RIC, nag-uusap din yung dalawang ito, yung dalawang RICs na yan, through A1 interface. But nila kailangan mag-usap kasi if the non-real-time RIC requires data, nandito na kasi kay near real-time RIC. Na-collect na niya, siya kasi nakikipag-usap talaga sa lahat ng run. No? And then, kung kailangan mag-train ng machine learning model ng AI, doon papasok si non-real-time RIC, mag-generate ng model, etc. And then, ibababa na lang yan for implementation ni RIC. So, parang ito yung planning person, planning department, and then this one is the operations department. So, parang ganun yung main idea. And then, meron pang itong service management framework kasi in this case, marami pang subcomponents yan later. We'll see that. And this SMO can also connect to other parts. Ito may O1 interface. Ang dami interface. For the purpose of also gathering data for other parts. And also, if they need to configure, no, ang hassle kasi no, thousands of run, kung manually pupuntahan bawat isa to reconfigure, medyo matagal yun gawin. No? So, pwede mayroon ng SMO no, to facilitate yung mga configuration from remotely. Ayan. So, ito actually yung pinaka-main part, no? Ano talaga, main slide no, of this course. No? All the slides leading to it is just to give the learners some time no, to adjust and to be part of that para maging mas ano siya mas acceptable kasi nung first time ko din siya nakita nagulat din ako ang dami naganap na ang daming components no so at least by discussing the first few slides going to this slide na to itong important slide mas magkakaroon ng background understanding yung learner. Yan. So, this is consistent naman dun sa ORAN documentations na found at the bottom of the page. You can see it here, no? Here. Pwede rin siya i-search, no? It's docs.oran, o-ran-sc.org, then /en/latest/architecture/architecture.html. Pwede rin na may search na usually lalabas yan. No? And a lot of vendors na ano naman, no, nagpa-publish din as well on this. And consistent naman dapat no, to this image. No? Maybe yung iba, ibang kulay lang, no? But ito, naging ginawang consistent no, ng Ayora para at least mas madaling maalala kapag same yung kanyang style. So this is the non-real-time RIC. Ayan. So medyo clear na siya. No? Kung ito yung non-real-time RIC, possibly yung kasunod ay near real-time RIC. So itong number 2 is the one no, connecting to the other nodes. Like, for example, eNode B, as itong orange, nandi ko sabihin pa. And then this red part, no. Basically, this number 2, no, connects to other components, yung mga RAN components. Yan. So, yan yung near real-time RIC. No? So, siguro, tandaan na lang, no. Pag near real-time, it's near the RAN, near the RAN components. No? So it's near real-time RIC or RAN intelligent controller. Yan, RAN intelligent controller. Yan. Tapos yung other four parts pala, or essentially three. These are the main RAN components, no? Yung usual talaga. And like this orange here, no, it is connected to the backhaul. No? Yung backhaul natin na ito. And it connects to the backhaul papunta sa core network. No? So yung pinaka-connected sa backhaul would be the centralized unit, itong CU. No? Ano lang tong O at saka CP? This is Open RAN. centralized unit, and then the control plane. So, ito naman yung user plane. Pwede naman magkabaliktad dito, no? Kasi ano lang naman, convention lang. Okay? And then, syempre, pag nagkabaliktad dyan, magkakabaliktad dapat yung interface. No? Yan, last two na, no? So, we have the number 5. Kung ito centralized unit, yung kapartner niya lagi yung DU, no? Or the distributed unit. Yan. So, centralized, distributed, and finally, the radio unit. Ayan. So, yan po yung architecture ulit. No? So, ano lang, parang fill in the blanks lang. Siguro if eventually you're going to uh, train or teach the learners on this, magandang hulaan muna initially no, kung ano yung mga components just to give them more time to remember ano yung mga components, pati actually yung mga interfaces, no? Kasi important din yung mga interfaces na yan. So this is another way of looking at the architecture. No? This is the Oral Alliance reference architecture. Same colors pa din, no? Halos pareho lang na purple, yellow, orange, red. No? And may blue na non-real-time brick. No? Tapos again, the A1 interface connects the two RICs, no? Ba't nila kailangan mag-usap? Kasi nga mag-share sila ng information. The non-real-time RIC assist in creating the AI model para ma-implement din siya ni RIC, ni real-time RIC. No? Medyo humaba yung pangalan, no? Na multi-RAT centralized unit protocol stack. Pero essentially, centralized unit siya. Pero, multi-RAT, multi-radio access technology. Ayan. And then, what that means is that marami pong iba't ibang cellular technologies, no? Pwede may 4G, pwede may 5G, and even yung parallel wireless na vendor, no? They also were able to virtualize even yung 3G saka 2G. No? Kahit na yung Open RAN, nag-start talaga yung conceptualization niya sa 5G na kaya naman no, i-virtualize din no, yung mga older generations. No? Somehow, magkakaroon ng parang all-G implementations. No? Ito na naman ulit, si mid-haul interface F1, tapos si front-haul interface, no? Ayan, so siguro sa mga exams dun sa course, so mapapansin nyo may itatanong dyan, which of the following is a 3GPP interface? Which of the following is ORAN interface? No? So if nasa puso na, no? If nasa puso na yung architecture, madali siyang maalala kasi makikita nyo na, itong connection na to, this is base K3GPP, isa connection naman base sa ORAN. No? And then this is parang more detail lang, more detail on the reference architecture. And from here, you'll see the different functions, no? Yung service management and orchestration kanina na SMO, yung color purple. Yung mga ano siya, like in design, inventory, policy, configuration. Ito yung sinasabi ko earlier na if may bagong configurations na kailangan i-implement, may changes sa configuration na kailangan i-cascade no, to all the components. Yan. So, dito magsa-start. No? So, instead of the engineers going through each part pa, no? Ang idea is that may central na lang na location, tapos i-cascade siya. Yan. And then other parts pa, mga policies, if kailangan inventory, and so on. No? Okay. So, also in the near real-time RIC, no, it focuses mostly on the various near real-time applications like radio management, mobility management, no, quality of service management, interference, and kung may mga trained model no, for further efficiency ng runs, no. Pero yung more details on the two RICs no, will be on a different webinar pa or different session pa. Yan. Tapos, meron din dito network function virtualization, no, na platform. Kasi, since we know that commercial off-the-shelf server na virtualize na yung mga functions, no? So, pwede magkaroon ng parang stack po yun, no? So, pwedeng sama-sama sila sa isang server or pwedeng maraming servers. Tapos, parang, ano sila, consolidated, working as one, no? Pag may nasira dun sa isa, okay lang, pwede mag-adjust no, yung virtual machines to use a different resource na lang. So that's the beauty of the virtual machines. Hindi allocated lang for a particular function o isang device. Pwede siyang ma-dynamically allocate. And yun din pa rin naman yung sa baba. And so, ang daming components no, ng ORAN architecture. That's why yung ORAN Alliance, no, they have different, what we call working groups. Maybe this was introduced as well no, in the Open RAN discussion, our first discussion on Open RAN. No? But let's go over them para mas maalala and as well as nabanggit na kasi yung mga details like the interfaces. Yeah, so yung working group 1, this team no, is in charge of the use cases and the overall architecture. So sila yung nagtitingin ng mga possible use cases and if may mga issues on that. And then working group 2, non-real-time RIC and A1 interface. So yung non-real-time RIC, di ba yung nasa taas, no? Sila yung support ng mga task na greater than 1 second of latency. Like, for example, may mga optimization, policies, if there is a need to provide AI and machine learning models, ayan, siya yung bahala doon. Tapos may A1 interface, saan ulit nakakonect? No? Nakakonect yan doon sa kabilang RIC. No? Si A1 ang bahala mag-connect sa mga RICs. No? Yan. Working Group 3, this team is in charge of looking into the near real-time RIC and the E2 interfaces. Interfaces kasi madami. Diba? Yung E2 is connecting the near real-time RIC to the various components. No? And ang purpose is really for optimization of the RAN elements. Like, kung may data collection, no? Mag-gather ng server utilization, ano ba yung amount of traffic, kung yung status, naka-up or down pa ba siya, ganun. So, the near real-time RIC no, through the E2 interface will gather these data and if may need no, to perform actions through that interface as well. And then working group 4 is the open front hall interface. This one no, is later may discussion on this no, if we still have time. And then all the other interfaces na present, no, si F1, W1, E1, X2, Xn. No? So hindi na natin makita lahat no, kasi medyo marami-rami ito for now. Hindi lang 5, actually may 6 pa, no, may ito more on focus on cloud. Ito naman white box hardware for supporting yung disaggregated software and hardware. Stack reference design, open transport, tapos operations and management, and security. So yung discussion pa no, on the security and other yung mga policies nasa advanced open run sections. Yan. Okay, so ngayon let's discuss yung sinasabi kong functional split no, kasi ang dami-daming components. May BBU, RRU, tapos yung BBU naging CUDU pa. Ano bang ginagawa ng bawat isa? Sinabi ko lang kasi kanina na baseband unit is more on the signal processing, RRU mostly sa digital to analog conversion. So bale, in-split further, the BBU was split further into the CU and DU because of the proposal ng 3GPP. Yan. So, minsan tinatawag na yung BBU as CU-DU. Pwedeng magkahiwalay sila physically, pwedeng magkasama lang sila, sobrang mas maikli lang, or within the same server, pwede silang installed together. Bakit kailangan i-split? Kasi nga, depende sa use cases. No? If they want na yung DU is nakalagay sa isang server, the CU nakalagay sa other server, and so on, then pwede nila yun gawin. Ayan. So, dahil nag-split yung dalawa, na-introduce dito yung mid-hall interface. And then, whatever functions on each part, no, doon papasok yung mga OSI model, OSI layer, and so on. Ayan. So, bakit kailangan i-split? The 3 factors that influence this is to provide a specific quality of service, user density, and kung ano man yung transport network. No? Different protocol layers will reside in different components, and different split implementations will make it more flexible to deploy na yung mga Open RAN solutions. No? Ayan. So, kunwari ito, no? Originally, monolithic lang yung RAN, meaning magkakasama lang po yung uh, CUDU na sa isa. Lahat ng components nasa BBU lang. No? Lahat ng functions, lahat ng protocols nasa functions. And then, when functional split came, napaghiwalay sila into CU at saka DU. So, we now have CU, DU, and RU. No? And then, may split na dito sa part na to, no? Kitang-kita niyo. May split na dito sa part na to. So, CU and DU. Tapos, may split din sa DU and RU. So, yung CU, DU, kapag may separation dito, that's what we call a high layer split. Kasi nga, nasa taas, no? So, very convenient yung placement. No? High layer split kasi nasa upper layers yung split natin, yung pagkakahiwa-hiwalay ng mga protocols. Pag nasa baba naman yung split, kumbaga nakahiwalay yung radio unit sa dalawang ito, it's what we call a low layer split. No? Kasi nasa baba, nasa lower layer of the OSI model. No? Pag parehong present yung splits na yan, we have high layer and low layer. That's now what we call a dual split option. No? Yan. So, mas madidiscuss pa actually ito in detail sa pagdating do sa Run Intelligent Controller na session. No? Yan. So, mas maintindihan natin ano ba yung functions dito, nandito ba yung modulation, demodulation, nandito ba yung automatic request, retransmission, yung mga error corrections. No? A lot of the concepts na cover din sa data communications course, no? For pag mga EC students. No? I believe in IT, meron din namang discussion on that. No? Yan. Yan. So, how does ORAN complement 3GPP and other standards? We have seen earlier no, that in the architecture, there are 3GPP components. Meron ding 3GPP na interface. No? So, pag tinignan lang natin yung 3GPP design nandito sa kaliwa, it just has the core network, the backhaul, and then this one is the access network, no? Yung CUDURU. In the 3GPP architecture na they decided, or rather they proposed yung front haul interface nga kasi para mapaghiwalay ang dalawa. Masyado kasing mataas yung signal loss. So they separated the two. And then eventually they also separated the CU and DU. The purpose is to have flexibility kung ano yung mga protocols na ilalagay. Doon pumasok si mid-haul interface. Specifically, the mid-haul interface is to F1. So, itong mga to, ito yung mga 3GPP components. And then, when adopted into ORAN architecture, nagkaroon lang ng O, itong tatlong components na to, at saka yung front haul. So, OCU, ODU, ORU, saka OFH. And then, na-introduce yung near real-time RIC and SMO. Medyo mas simplified version to ng architecture. Yan. And then, how does this relate to the OSI model? The OSI model, this one on the right, consists of 7 layers, typically used for network na discussion. It helps assist no, sa pag-explain, troubleshoot, ganyan. So may 7 layers, but for RAN, radio access networks, nakafocus lang talaga sa lower 3 layers, the physical layer, data link layer, and network layer. No? So itong tatlong ito, no, yung the RAN functions are focused here, and all the 3 RAN components, no, yung RU, CU, DU, they manage. No? They manage all the RAN functions. No? Yan. So, paano yung possible placements no, protocol? Pwedeng ganito, no? May kita nyo dito may mga RAN protocols and the RAN protocols can be mapped no, to the corresponding OSI layer. So ito service data adaptation protocol, pang 5G lang po ito, no? Radio resource control, PDCP, RLC, MAC, PHY, saka RF. No? Yan, maraming protocols dito. Di-discuss pa yung details ito in the next slide. No? And yung pagkaka-assign, no? Yung assignment kung sinong mag-handle ng mga protocol na to, yun yung functional split. No? Kaya makita niyo sa kaliwa, no? May low layer split, Kumbaga, pinaghiwalay yung BBU at saka RRU. And then, ang focus lang ni RRU ay yung RF component. No? All the other functions, no, lahat ng ibang signal processing components, nandito sa BBU. No? But later in the discussion pa ng RIC, no, and functional split, madidiscuss further bakit kailangan na paghiwa-hiwalayin, paano magiging consistent kasi syempre sobrang daming possible options, no? How will the network operators, no, um, implement them and para maging consistent kasi nga important, no, in Open RAN na interoperable yung mga devices, no? Para kahit na magkakaiba ng vendors, okay lang kasi interoperable naman sila. Ayan. And then, ito na yung details on the different protocols. No? Ito na yung mga functions. Actually, may ano pa yan eh, may matinding ano, infographic siguro later na lang. Yung bawat function dito, mas madami pa siyang details. No? Pero this table at least no, shows no, na there are a lot of tasks no, that are being performed by the RAN. And all of these no, can be assigned accordingly. Some components, some function may be assigned to certain components and so on. Yan. So, pwede rin maging further, ano yan, further parang seat work and homework na for the learners. And then, ito yung mga documentations no, found in 3GPP. So, www.3gpp.org/specifications. No. Nandiyan lahat ng mga technical specifications, technical reports. No. Um, Depending on the generation, may iba-iba pa kasing parang ano yan, technical report, technical specifications. And sometimes may mga ano pa, parang revisions pa sila. No? Kaya ako personally, hindi ko pinapa-memorize no, yung number kasi hindi naman siya something na commonly utilized. No? Siguro yung important na technical report number is the functional split number yung 38.801. Siguro let me go back. No? Ayan. Itong number na ito, no? 38.801. Kasi yan yung functional split. As for the others, let me go back. Ang mga technical specifications, medyo madami siya, no? These specify ano yung mga ginagawa ng bawat protocol per generation, no? So kapag may 6G pa, ibig sabihin may series pa na pa further, no? So mostly itong mga specifications na to would be quite relevant for vendors and for manufacturers kasi they need to comply to this para up to standard sila and ma-ensure na of course mag-ooperate yung mga devices correctly. Ayan. Okay, so siguro and then pwede skip na part. And siguro dito, we go to the 3GPP and ORAN functions and nodes. Earlier, we were able to see the ORAN architecture as shown here. But notice that there are 3GPP specific functions and interfaces. No? Particularly interface yung mga gray ones are 3GPP defined. Yan. So yung hindi blurred or hindi transparent colors, those are defined no, in 3GPP. Yung mga interfaces na ito and itong mga components, although in 3GPP wala yung O, no, it's just a centralized unit, distributed unit, and radio unit. Ayan. So yung CU and DU are 3GPP specific components that are adopted into ORAN architecture. Itong X2 interface naman is originally designed to send information between the eNode Bs. Yan. Ano ulit yung eNode B? No? eNode B is the RAN for 4G. And then, the X2 interface no, allows internode communications para makapag-usap yung mga RAN components. No? And then, pwede rin naman siya makipag-communicate sa 5G node. No? So, pwedeng eNode B, it's a 4G node, and then a G node B, which is a 5G node. No? So the X2 interface no, will assist on that part. No? And then meron ding XN interface. It is used for sending information between G node Bs. Itong G node B, di ba, ito yung sa 5G. Or between NG e-node Bs, next generation 4G nodes. Next generation e-node B. Ibig sabihin lang po nito is mga 4G node that can handle or can connect to the 5G core. Magkaiba kasi yung core ng dalawa. And then the external interface can also interconnect yung G node B and the NG e node B. Ayan. Okay, so what else? The CU, DU, RU, we already know that. But yung interfaces dito yung medyo bago-bago. For the ORAN specific functions naman, ORAN specific functions are those that are not defined or not really defined, but not proposed by 3GPP. No? So halos lahat, maliban lang yung mga gray na interfaces dito. No? So yung iba dito na discuss na natin earlier, no? Essentially kasi inadopt ng ORAN Alliance no yung 3GPP architecture. Wala lang ng controller, wala masyadong main framework to interconnect all of the RAN components. Yan. Okay, so ngayon, ilang beses ko na nabanggit yung RAN Intelligent Controller. So I want to just briefly introduce it. So in the past, in other generations, meron ding mga various controllers. Iba-iba lang yung pangalan. No? Their purpose is to manage the RAN. No? In the past, merong base station controller, no? And then meron ding radio network controller. In 4G, nawala yung controller na separate. Pinagsama nila sa eNode B. Pero eventually, ni-reintroduce din sa Open RAN. No? Yan. So in 5G Open RAN, no, the purpose of RIC is also similar sa iba for management of the RAN. Pwedeng for network intelligence, for resource assurance, resource control. Yan. So ito yung parang mga functions niya, no? It's really for network intelligence, resource assurance, and resource control. And it is originally defined for 5G Open RAN, but essentially later, pwede naman siya for other Open RAN generations. It is essential, this RIC, no, to support interoperability between hardware. Kasi siya yung magko-connect no, ng mga iba't ibang hardware and software components, and can also leverage yung mga data analytics and AI platform for resource management. No? Pwede rin siyang magamit for optimizations ng QoS, slicing, and mobility. No? So essentially, yung RIC is really, ang goal niya is to optimize the different RANs because there are a lot of them. And if we want to optimize, no, better understand yung network, no, ayan, dapat meron tayong way to get the data, get the information. And so dalawa yung types of RIC earlier that I mentioned. No? Isa, non-real-time RIC. So it supports tasks greater than 1 second of latency. Then yung near real-time RIC naman supports tasks greater than, less than 1 second of latency. So, anong pinagkaiba ng dalawa is yung, aside sa placement, no? Yung near real-time RIC is near the RAN components. No? But also, they employ what we call R apps and X apps. Mga, ano yan, mga pwedeng proprietary or open applications running on them. Kumbaga, if they want to have a function for configuration management, for data analytics, and pwede sila mag-propose ng separate nila. So ito yung sinasabi ko earlier na proprietary pa rin yung software, and this is where the vendors, manufacturers can gain advantage. No? Pwedeng mag-propose sila ng sarili nila na proprietary program para ma-optimize yung RAN, yung mga ganung bagay. Yan. So yung R apps nasa non-real-time RIC, yung X apps naman nasa near real-time RIC, no? Mas madidiscuss po ito sa sa RAN Intelligent Controller discussions. No? But for the interest of time, siguro mag-skip ako ng ibang slides, and itong isang section na lang, no? Final section. No? Yan. So knowing now, no, yung various components of the architecture, the the motivation behind, no, sa Open RAN architecture. And makita natin na in the past, no, may traditional deployment scenario tayo kung saan lahat talaga, no, everything, all the hardware, the software are proprietary. No? So vendor specific talaga siya. No? Yung radio access network hardware, proprietary. Software naman proprietary din. So if you change something dito, no, I'm sorry. If you change one component, kunwari binago natin isang hardware, dapat bumili din tayo from the same vendor. So walang choice. So kunwari lang yung kabilang vendor mas mura, hindi sila makapili kasi mas mahal pa din na i-overhaul lahat. No? Yun sa traditional deployment. No? But for Open RAN deployment, the idea is that the software, the hardware are open, meaning they can just be commercial off the shelf. No? Yung mga servers sa baba, no, they may come from different vendors like this. No? Maybe vendor A, vendor B, vendor C, and so on. Tapos, they are commercial off-the-shelf servers. And then, yung software naman, pwede rin galing sa iba't ibang vendors. Kapag may nasirang isang hardware, like, nari, itong C, nasira, pwede siyang palitan, no? It may be replaced by the hardware from other vendors or from the same vendor, no? Kailangan lang i-test for interoperability, no? And then sa software, ganun din, if nagbago yung software, pwede naman palitan ng ibang vendors kasi we're just using the commercially available servers. No? Yun yung maganda sa kanya. Pwede mag-mix and match. No? Mas mabilis mag-upgrade. Hindi kailangan na i-overhaul lahat if there will be changes sa vendors. Baka gusto na nila ng ibang contract, ganyan. No? Yan. So, but of course, no, the customizability has a trade-off. Mostly yung ma-ensure na interoperable yung mga devices, interoperable yung mga services, as well as kailangan mag-communicate to various different vendors. No? So yun yung added, ano niya, yun yung parang trade-off. No? From customizability, flexibility option, syempre naging mas complex na yung procurement process, na naging complex din yung testing process na before deployment. But in the long run, they expect na mas maganda siya financially or economically. Yan. And maganda din dahil virtualized na nga yung mga software. It's possible as well na paghiwa-hiwalayin yung certain parts. Like for example, ito, no, pwedeng sa ibang server nakalagay yung ibang mga software side, sa kabilang server may ibang software side, and so on. So yun yung maganda sa kanya, no? Pwedeng hiwa-hiwalay na yung mga components. No? And then there are also proposals na like or parang creations from other vendors like Parallel Wireless. Originally nga, 'di ba, Open RAN is um, designed for 5G, but eventually pwede rin naman siya for lower generations. No? You can see in this image here, no, yung parang may commercial off-the-shelf device lang. Tapos connected on top of it would be the software platform. May mga 2G, 3G, 4G, 5G. So, ibig sabihin all G, somehow all G na siya. No? Can handle the RAN, this RAN no, can handle all the different generations. No? Ang ganda nun kasi sama-sama na sila. No? Hindi na kailangan hiwa-hiwalay. Di ba nakita natin sa generations, iba yun, iba yung 2G, iba yung 3G, 4G. Here, kayang i-virtualize no, yung mga RAN components and they're running on the same commercial off-the-shelf server. Kapag medyo overutilized na server, palitan lang no, into another open server na mas malakas. No? Maybe mas upgrade lang yung RAM, upgrade yung processor, yung storage. No? Even the core network, no? Yan. Pwede rin siya i-virtualize eventually. Although the Open RAN, the focus of Open RAN really is in this portion. No? Yung portion ng access network. Ayan. Okay, so to summarize, kasi malapit na mag-time. Magta-time na, no? So to summarize, no, we were able to cover, no, a lot of concepts sa radio access networks and across different generations. And we learned that the reason why Open RAN came about is because of the disaggregation of the hardware and software and introduce yung virtualization in the components. There was also a need to have Open RAN because of the concept of vendor lock-in. All the components come from the same vendor, and it limited the operators, no, to a single vendor. Pag na-limit, no, nagkakaroon ng hindi masyado nagpo-foster ng competition sa economy and things like that. So they proposed na lahat ng components, na hardware components are open, including the interface. And then in the Open RAN architecture, we saw a lot of components as well. The four main components are the DU-CU, the near real-time RIC, and the SMO with the non-real-time RIC. And in this architecture, there were several interfaces na as well. Yan. So maraming mga parang symbols, no, acronyms. But if the learner was able to really grasp, no, yung important slide, no, dun sa lecture, mas madali na niya ma-explain, na makita niya na ito connected to sa isang component. This is connected to other component. Yan. So to end yung very important slide, no? Very important slide na I know at start na it seems a lot, but with the proper transition na mas madali siya maintindihan.